Good Cookie Moms too.
Okay, what I'm gonna help you with today is to understand a little bit about the newspaper business, okay? Every day, now I understand you're not all from here, right? Or is anybody? Okay, one Bartlesville, okay. Well, we are a daily newspaper. Not all communities have daily newspapers. I think you said you were from Sperry. They probably just have a weekly.
We have a paper. We get Skytube Collinsville's their paper.
Yeah, okay, and they're weekly.
Yes.
Okay, but most communities well, all over the country have a weekly newspaper or a daily newspaper, along with radio stations and TV stations and other forms of media. But in the newspaper business, here's what we try and do. Who can tell me why we even put out a newspaper every day?
To see what's going on.
Very good. Anybody else? One girl in the morning session said, so we can see all the stuff that's going on. So you're right. What we do is we want to provide readers in the community information. Okay, news is information. So we have all kinds of information. Can anybody give me one kind of information that you might be interested in? Or that your parents might be interested in? What kind of information?
Girl Scout cookies. I was going to say comics.
Okay, well, comics. That's a good one. Because that's information. It's entertainment. It's information. And gotta find it. Well, where is it? Yeah. So every day we put comics in the paper too. Okay. Now on Sunday they're colored comics, and when we go in the back in the press room, I'm going to give you a copy of those. But going back to information, the newspaper contains, again, all kinds of information. Here's a story, for example, about an adult, I believe that's a daycare center, that's going to close here in Bartlesville. Now that wouldn't mean anything to you all, but it might mean something to your grandparents that have an interest in that adult center that's going to close. So we're informing. We're informed. That's our business, is information and news. There's all kinds of news. In Washington County, again, I don't think any of you live here except one. You know how hot and dry it's been? Well, the state, I believe it's the governor, issued no burning. So how do we all know about this? It's through the media. So we chose that as a front page story, that do not burn your charcoalers, do not burn anything outside because it's been so hot and dry. Here's kind of a sad story. All the stories that we publish, they're not all always just good and bright and cheerful, because sometimes bad things happen. Here's a story that 81 cats and dogs were seized in a home in our area that were not being taken care of. Isn't that sad? 81. So we feel it's our responsibility to help the citizens in our readership area know about this. Here's another story about in our city government here in Bartlesville, they're trying to figure out the best way for us to dispose of our trash. I don't know how you have it in your communities, but I know in other communities I've lived in, they provide big plastic trash cans on rollers, and then when it's trash day, you roll those out to the curb, and the trash truck comes and lifts it up and picks it up. Well, here in Bartlesville, you just take your sacks of trash and you lay them out on the curb of the street where the trash trucks come. So, you know, which way are we going to go? So the newspaper business, again, reports on government issues. So you can see there's just all kinds of information that we provide in the newspaper, and then we're going to show you how we put it all together when we take the tour. Can you think of any other, now that I've said that, can you think of any other kinds of information that people would want to see in the paper? Okay, let me tell you what the number one piece of news is every day that people go to the paper first for. Can anybody guess? Guess.
Robbery.
Well, that's good. Crime. People love to read about crime. Now, and on a good day like this, we didn't have one crime story in here. Well, I guess that probably might be a crime story because that's breaking the law. But that's a real good answer. Some days, bad things happen in your community. And that front page is just story after story of robberies, of murders, you know, crime stories like you're saying. So that's a real good answer. The number one item most read is the obituaries. Do you know what an obituary is? That's the story about a person that has passed away. Real sad, but people want to know who has passed away, when is the funeral, who the family members are. So, and then the second is births. So like when you all were born and it was in the paper, they like to read about those families that have had a recent birth. So from birth to death. So with that, we're going to take the tour. Let me put something else out there. Does anybody in here play sports? What do you play?
I play a lot of sports. Basketball, softball.
Good. Basketball. What did you raise your hand? What do you play?
I do taekwondo.
Pardon me?
Taekwondo.
All right. My son started taekwondo about your age. What belt are you?
What belt?
You're already black? You're already blacked out? Wow. Congratulations. Oh, yes. Oh, good. That's a good one, too.
Tennis.
There were some tennis players this morning.
I used to do soccer.
Soccer? Well, in our paper, we like to cover those different sports, okay? And in our paper, we have a sports editor that does a really good job of covering basketball. Actually, I've seen taekwondo, martial arts, when somebody gets a black belt, something like that. That makes the paper. A lot of football. So again, it's not just the news on the front page, it's the sports activities that children and even adults participate in too. So again, information. It's information. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to start, usually the first question is, how do you know what to put in the paper? So that information comes from the newsroom. So we're going to go talk to a reporter, and she's going to tell you how she, I keep using big words, I'm sorry, how she gets information and decides whether to put it in the paper or not. So we'll begin our tour.